introduce the player at the top right, Jeroen?
In the top right, we have the red Protoss player from Team Esports Club Visualize, a Dutch team. He is FeaR.
FeaR.
His purple opponent, Team Icy Box, if I'm very correct. He is the Panzer General. He is GoOdy.
Right. Yes, so ECV, like you said, EC Visualize, sorry.
Yeah.
It is a Dutch club, so it's not a team, they're an esports club. I've had this said to me. So yeah, and they're based in the Netherlands, so exactly.
Yeah, they self-identify as a club. I guess the term multi-gaming organization also applies, which is of course one of the older terms which you have for an organization that hosts multiple teams or multiple players from several games. I believe they're based in Amsterdam. They actually past weekend we had the party in Eindhoven, which is the biggest LAN party here in the Netherlands and as well as in Belgium and Luxembourg for that matter. And they had astounding results. Like, they didn't win StarCraft 2, I believe Ufernal from AT Gaming did. I had the honor of casting those finals, which were actually kind of one-sided, but regardless, Esports Club Visualize took home a lot of prizes. I believe Counter-Strike, Go, Global Offensive, Hearthstone, they even won all sorts of games. Nice. So they were out in force, I tell you.
Cool. All right, cool. So we have a German representative of that team. FeaR, what do you know about FeaR in particular? I should have checked his age. It's probably on the website. By the way, if you want to know more about the players, you can go to the website, go to the DSCL Open Individual League page, and there you will find a link to a page where all the players have been laid out, including the groups that they're in, and you can click on the little icons and learn more about who they are, so what age they are, stuff like that. But Dylan, what do you know about FeaR? Maybe his previous results.
Well, he's by all means a prodigy. I believe he placed 4 at the party, and I'm also really he is 14. I saw him at the party and I didn't get the impression that he was, but he is 14, and well, that's a pretty impressive young age to be this good at StarCraft at, because he placed well. He played a bit cheesy, is what his style is, what it's like from what I gathered from all the other players there. Like, he just likes the cheese, especially in Protoss versus Protoss. And perhaps, well, especially against Zerg, I believe, but perhaps also against Terran. We will just have to see.
Okay. By the way, we see, of course, GoOdy scouting out the map. This is something you need to do if you want to know where your opponent is on a 4-player map, because you don't know in advance on which location your opponent is going to spawn at. Of course, now they are what's called cross-map, which means they have the largest possible distance between them. And GoOdy is scouting with 2 units. One of them is a Reaper, which he has created from his barracks.
Yeah, GoOdy decided not to scout until his barracks completed, which means he has to kind of send out 2 units onto the map. Otherwise, it could take a way too long time before you can actually manage to get a decent scout off on your opponent. His build so far has been perfectly standard. His second gas is actually a bit early, so I'm kind of thinking he's going to build a fast factory and go into something like Hellions.
Look at where FeaR positioned his Zealot. He knows that this is a favorable location for GoOdy to jump a Reaper in, and of course, yes, he's anticipated it. The Reaper's actually there and the Zealot got a shot off, which he wouldn't have gotten off usually, of course.
Yeah, and unfortunately for GoOdy, he didn't get a good scout off behind the mineral line, so he doesn't know that it's a Robo Bay. And he did spot double gas, which at this point in the game is not very strange for a Protoss player. But the fact that whatever tech FeaR is still going for is still up in the air is very concerning for Terran, because this is usually the timing where at some point an Oracle might actually fly into your base and do a ton of damage. So,
and as you say that we see some Marines from GoOdy moving back up into the main base. This might very well be. Of course, you might wonder why would he put his Marines in his main base and not at the ramp at the front. But this is probably in anticipation of an Oracle.
Yeah, something like Oracle DTs. Of course, DTs would hit a bit later, but or Blink is also still part of the equation. And surprisingly, he's moving his Reaper back. Usually at 6 minutes, Terrans will suicide their Reaper just to get a better scout off. And a scan at this point would reveal what FeaR is going for. He's got a Forge, he's got a Robo. He's playing very, very standard here against GoOdy. And really, all of his strategies so far are basically a bit 2011-esque.
Alright, okay, so let's talk about GoOdy, because he also has a kind of a different approach to the game as most other players.
Yeah, he usually does, and his fast factory Reaper in the main actually got taken out before. Wait, what did it actually see? It saw the Forge, and that's already in the photon cannon as well, so that's actually very comforting, because usually Protoss players don't build a Forge unless they intend to play macro. So GoOdy knows he's in a pretty decent spot because his economy has gone completely unharassed. His build so far is looking to be a Marine Widowmine drop with a follow-up into mech because he hasn't added on Stim and he's now getting a siege tank. So this is, I guess, a pretty safe opener. But yeah, for me, I'm not really sure what to call it because it's so unorthodox.
We see GoOdy also using the supply drop every now and then. I think he used it on the supply depot behind his mineral line in his natural. So can you explain to me what the supply drop does? I mean, of course I know it, but there's a bit of a debate going on as to whether it is an ability that you want to use.
Well, if you're still in the point where you're producing workers this early on in the game, Observer actually gets picked off by GoOdy. Nice pick off there. But yeah, supply drop early on in the game, of course, it's not as good as dropping a mule, because a mule during its time where it's mining is about the equal of 4 SCVs. But dropping supply and keeping up your unit and SCV production when you're playing macro is quite worth it, because you will have more SCVs in the long run.
And of course you mine out your minerals less quickly.
Yeah, that as well. For Terran that's usually not so much of an issue, because you can just take another base and drop all your minerals, all your mules there, and have plenty of income. We actually have an interesting push here coming up by GoOdy. It's a bit early, and I don't think this will. Well, actually, FeaR's been actually playing really greedy. Like, he went Robo Forge off of 2 gates, and now going into Templar with charge, and he added on. He's now up to 7 gates, which is a good number. But he's completely foregone unit production at this point. So this drop by GoOdy could actually do a lot of damage if it wasn't for Photon Overcharge.
Okay, so the Zealot spots everything, and of course Photon Overcharge is dropped immediately by FeaR. Yeah, this push could do a little bit of damage. Of course, GoOdy can try to outmaneuver FeaR and drop where FeaR's army is not, and then maybe if FeaR moves his army, attack where the army is no longer at. That's yeah, that's kind of a positioning game. But GoOdy thinks better if it actually retreats.
Yeah, the thing is here, FeaR is making tech and GoOdy is making units. Of course, GoOdy is also attacking and working on his infrastructure by adding on Cloak and now going into Cloak Banshees. Cloak Banshees usually are very good against a robot-based army composition from the Protoss, because the amount of damage they output is well, quite good, and robo units don't shoot up.
Okay, so we see a storm drop coming up from FeaR. He's got a warp prism going down on the right side of the map, and loaded with 2 Templar Archives, and by the time the Templar Archives will get to the enemy base, Storm Research will have finished. It's just now finished. Somehow GoOdy seems to be aware of it, or is expecting this. He's moving all of his units back, but a Storm Drop can do a lot of damage in a very short time, and these SCVs are definitely at risk of dying.
Yeah, I think GoOdy's move back is rather a bit sloppy. He should have kept control of the bottom watchtower, but he isn't. Still, it doesn't make a difference, because this Warp Prism is going to get in regardless. The question is, how quickly will GoOdy actually react? I'll keep my camera in his vision. He is looking at his 3rd base right now, but his army is completely out of position to intercept it. However, the Warp Prism, yeah, it's kind of holding steady.
Right, so I'm looking at GoOdy's player view now. He has no idea that the Warp Prism is there. Let's check on the old view where the Warp Prism actually is at. He's warping in units, and of course now it's spotted because an SCV got up there to build a missile turret, maybe to deter exactly the kind of thing that FeaR is trying now. FeaR is apparently retreating. Maybe he's going the long way around. Yeah, he's going the long way around. Maybe try to attack from the other side of the base. Yes. But now, of course, GoOdy is aware of the Warp Prism, so he might put up some defenses on that side as well.
So GoOdy so far has gone completely unharassed. The thing about that is GoOdy is not very well known for his multitasking, and usually if you task a player with
here we go. In the back of the natural.
Indeed, and no reaction from GoOdy yet. He actually warps in Zealots.
No
Maybe
storm yet? Where's the storm? No storm!
Sure.
Oh!
I think this might be a bait.
Oh,
like
so he's baiting. Oh! Oh!
This is most of the SCVs actually.
Let's see how many units he killed. He killed 12 workers there.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised at that. He did kill a lot of them, but it could have easily been double that number, I feel. And now the SCVs just move back, and actually if he unloads at 1 Templar right now, he should have enough.
Boy.
Oh, but he's not paying attention to his work.
Yes, he is! There we go! Oh, that's 21 workers killed. Okay, so that's significant. And the Warp Prism gets out right before the missile turret there finishes. So that was a good deal for FeaR, and GoOdy feels now that he must compensate by doing some damage to FeaR as well, because taking a 21 SCV loss is not something that you can sit back on. You need to do some damage to your opponent as well, otherwise you get behind so far that you can't catch up later on. There is actually A big opportunity for GoOdy to kill some probes as well.
So the Banshees here are going to be really effective unless they get, okay, they don't get feedback because there is no observer and they cloak just in time. But the army composition of GoOdy isn't really all that bad because the Marines, oh, actually Protoss army getting in close, but all the Zealots have already vaporized because of the Hellions.
Oh.
And he's kind of crushing through this army.
Yeah, the Immortals weren't really doing their job. They were bunching up and trying to reach that one tank. This is not looking very good for FeaR.
Not at all, and the point that I made earlier is that GoOdy was making units where FeaR was just stacking up, and it's starting to kind of bring through. The Photon Overcharge is still doing a lot of damage to this army, and what is left here from GoOdy doesn't seem to be packing all that much of a punch. However, these Bloom Flame Hellions are actually quite capable of dealing with charge loss because of their splash damage, and now this natural FeaR is in a lot of trouble.
Yep, I think FeaR might actually hold this push off. Yeah, he definitely will. But he's received quite a lot of damage. Let me check the units lost tab. He's only lost 8 probes, so that's not a lot. But he did lose basically all of his army, so he's quite far behind in the supply count, as you can see. He'll definitely need to do some catching up.
Yeah, and what's really important here to notice that Protoss, as compared to Terran at least, a lot of high value units. For Terran, for Protoss, it's very important that you actually keep up with your high value units, such as Colossi and Immortals. Oh, actually, Hellions doing quite a bit of damage here, picking off more probes, doing a good job there. But GoOdy sacrifices what he has left on the map for this.
So yeah, he killed a lot of probes there, and now he's up to 20, whereas he was up to 8 earlier. So that was a good deal. He's now basically equalized the worker loss. So that leaves FeaR in quite of a bad position, seeing as how he's behind in supply.
This Hellion production has been really relentless. Keep in mind that GoOdy has done something which very few players do, which is research the servo upgrade, meaning these Hellions can transform into Hellbats whenever they want. Oh no, they actually run into a Protoss army,
and
but
Storm
does us quite a bit of damage, but not too lethal, and GoOdy here will have to watch out where he moves these Hellions.
Yep, so he's splitting them up. Part of them goes to the watchtower, and the other, the center is just in time throwing down a force field, so these Hellions will not be able to get through, and also they run into.
Oh! Picks off 3 times. No, how many did he pick off?
No, he picked off 1, and the other 2 morphed into an Archon.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice reaction there by FeaR, moving his Templars to an Archon.
But more Hellions. The ones from the watchtower went up and killed more probes. Let's see how far. Oh, he's up to 35 probe kills.
Yeah, GoOdy's income in minerals is almost up to 3,000 minerals a minute. His Hellion production is just off the charts. Like, he's producing 7, 10 maybe at a time if he wants to. And meanwhile back, he's building an even larger army of higher value. He's leaving the tanks and the Banshees behind because, well, they don't do as much in this harass, and this is such an interesting way to play the game. I really don't know any other players that do this and do this to this part of effectiveness as well.
Alright, we're gonna see a Hellbat drop, Jeroen. But in the middle of the map, an engagement as well.
Oh, but a nice kiting here by GoOdy. Keeping out of range out of the Immortals, which absolutely destroy these Hellions. Trying to do maximum damage to the Zealots, and yes, the Hellbat drop is underway, heading towards the natural. There's a single cannon there, and those are actually quite effective because the Hellbats will auto-target it instead of the probes. And now the army of FeaR is moving towards the third, but I'm not sure if there's enough Protoss here.
Yep, so the Hellbats are indeed attacking the cannon. There's no more engagement going on downstairs. In the bottom of the map, that is. These Hellbats have only been focusing the cannon, so they have not gotten as much probe kills as they might have liked. Although GoOdy is up to 37 probe kills. That is quite impressive.
Yeah, he's done pretty well so far. However, the Immortal count for the Protoss is rising ever so steady. If we look at the unit tab, he's got 5, along with a bunch of Archons. I don't feel FeaR's unit composition is as good as it is. He needs to work more on the value. He's on equal basis, but not so much on equal income because, well, GoOdy has mules, so he has higher mineral income.
He's making a FeaR, that is. He's making a Colossus switch. What do you think about that?
Well, I kind of like it versus the Mass Hellion, but the Mass Hellion is usually, yeah, I guess Colossi are the easiest way to deal with it. There's also a fusion core on the way, so GoOdy will probably be transitioning into battlecruisers at some point. It's not something we see a whole lot. And again, the Hellbat drop actually doing quite a bit of damage this time, pulling down the Protoss to 50 probes against the 70 of GoOdy, who's now pretty much maxed out, and we'll probably be looking for a push out very soon.
Oh yeah, a maxed out army.
He's got a lot of SCVs though. Like, he's taking his Swarf, and he will be transferring a lot of these SCVs, as is only logical. The value of GoOdy's army is not as high as it should be. I mean, he's got 15 tanks, 2 forts, 5 banshees, but the 24 Hellions took out a lot of supply. Actually spots that base to the top left by FeaR.
Oh boy, great reaction by FeaR.
Whoa, those probes.
Yeah.
And Hellions now in a very threatening position, pulling the Protoss army out of position. Actually,
Snap.
the main army of GoOdy is still stuck at base, but GoOdy's just going to be kiting here, and FeaR is making the not so wise decision of charging.
No, those Zealots are classified as light units, and these Hellions do extra damage against light units, so Zealots are not what you want to use to go up against Hellions.
This mass Hellion strategy to just keep map control seems to be really working out for GoOdy. You know, if FeaR wanted to, he could have taken a fort, but he would have to spread his army very thin. And actually, picks up once again. Nice reaction here by FeaR, transforming his his Templar into an Archon. But still, the storms are actually going to be really important in an actual fight. And wow, 4 command centers at the same time for GoOdy.
4 probes.
Oh, that as well. And now this part is undefended. He didn't wall off and didn't build any cannons, so the Hellions are just roasting these probes, and they will be cleaned up eventually, but FeaR just keeps falling further behind.
You want to guess how many probes have been killed so far in this game?
Over 50, I guess. Wow.
Right. Let's see. 73 probes. Oh man, poor FeaR. He's really struggling hard in this game, I guess. And oh man, GoOdy is working on his +3, nearly finished for his vehicles, and is also getting the Yamato cannon for his battlecruisers that he will be building.
Yeah, this is almost an unfair contest at this point in the game, amassing battlecruisers.
There we go.
Against the Protoss, who doesn't really have capable anti-air because, well, no Stargates, no Void Rays, and Colossus and Immortals don't do fair well exactly against battlecruisers. So yeah. GoOdy is in a great spot, and all he's really had to do for it is attack with Hellions, I guess.
Yeah, didn't we see Grubby also having difficulties with a player who was going mass Hellions all the time? I can't remember who that was, but...
Yeah, it was, I mentioned it earlier actually, it was Grubby versus Daishi.
Oh, Daishi, yeah.
In round WCS. Round of 8 of WCS. The interesting part was Daishi committed even more Hellions than GoOdy is doing here, I believe. I mean, Grubby never even got 3 bases, or maybe he did, but not to the extent that FeaR did. And certainly, FeaR is in an even worse position than Grubby ever was, I think, because once these battlecruisers are out on the map, and I'm pretty sure he has a few already somewhere.
Yep, he's got 3 out.
Oh yeah, there they are in the natural.
We see, by the way, if we look at the APM, the actions per minute, we see kind of a stereotypical image for GoOdy frequently hitting 60 APM, which is quite low for a pro gamer or someone very working hard on playing StarCraft. And we see, of course, FeaR at 360 APM every now and then. So FeaR is clicking furiously, whereas GoOdy making more efficient clicks.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. Bit of zealous harassment by FeaR. So far, he's never really had the opportunity to do that, but it's doing, actually the army of FeaR moves in range of the siege tanks, which is a huge mistake, and he loses quite a few. And it really illustrates the problem that FeaR is in. Like, he cannot attack frontally at all.
Look at this siege tank line. That is unbreakable, man.
Yeah, it's going to be... You need the combination of charge slots and a lot of Immortals and a Warp Prism to effectively break that. And it's certainly doable, but I think FeaR is actually going to try it. He's going to load up maybe an Immortal and 2 Templar in these Warp Prisms. And, 50 APM for GoOdy. He's just gonna sit there and make battlecruisers.
GoOdy's just sitting back, like, sure, you stay there, you try and walk into my tank line, I'll just build battlecruisers. Here we go, Yamato cannons! Oh, great! Whoa! Actually, I saw this on Reddit the other day. If you feedback a battlecruiser that's shooting Yamato cannon, it will cancel the attack.
Exactly. So I was waiting for him to actually cast that in time, but it was not. I think he got 3 Yamatos off.
Yep, he got a few, definitely.
Yeah. Interesting here for GoOdy is that he's not choosing to go Ghosts. Ghosts, of course, they melt Archon, they melt Immortal shields, and there are going to be a lot of Archons and Immortals. But if you look at the fact that how many battlecruisers there are with upgrades, these are 3 battlecruisers.
Sheesh, look at that.
Those are very effective as well.
Yeah, this is it starts feeling like one of those games I used to play when I was in high school, right? So just build turrets all around your base and tanks everywhere, and just sit it out.
Yeah, like playing USA Air in Command & Conquer Generals or something. You sit back and make alpha rollers, and FeaR finally choosing to not go and take the front door. Now attacking all these extra orbitals from GoOdy. Actually, one falls, another one will also fall, and GoOdy is forced to reposition. So finally, it seems like GoOdy actually losing a couple of banshees to feedbacks at the 4 FeaR, but I don't think FeaR can actually make something happen here. However, if he keeps this up, because there's also no
all the tanks are not sieged. Well, now they are. Time to run away. Whoa!
Yeah, that's a lot of firepower.
Yeah, you don't want to be standing there. Oh, the poor immortal is glitching out. Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, that got taken care of very quickly. But look at FeaR. He's gonna up to back from 167 supply. He's got war prisons in good locations, and he's pretty much keeping his opponent on 4 base. His own economy isn't exactly doing stellar. He's mining off of well, almost nothing actually.
Got banshees in his main.
Oh yeah.
Oh, another big attack. So he did take out GoOdy's 4th.
Oh, he did. Unfortunately, GoOdy has like 5 extra orbitals to replace it, but GoOdy's saying, screw it, you can't kill my army, I'm just gonna attack. Puts a couple of siege tanks in a good position, but the Archons, nice storm there.
Oh, okay, so, wow. FeaR is definitely ravaging this base, but then again, GoOdy will also be taken out. Oh, GoOdy's turning back after taking out the 4th of FeaR.
I'm really not sure what the idea behind that is.
No.
Of course, FeaR's income is negligible, as in he's only mining a bit of gas. And I think this is actually a good decision. Like, he split up his armies in a couple of tanks towards the last mining base of FeaR, and FeaR cannot defend this actually with what he currently has. So if he kills the army of FeaR, he will almost guaranteed win the game. And FeaR doesn't have a mothership core, so he cannot just recall out of this base. And
that would be nice, right?
Trap them.
Oh, here we come the Amado cannons.
Oh my god, so much damage. Taking out the Archons, very clever.
Whoa.
GG.
Wow, that was definitely GG.